Thank you. Sri Jaydev Galla.
Madam, at the outset, I'd like to congratulate the Honorable Finance Minister for presenting his maiden speech on behalf of the NDA. The opposition has been saying that the budget is old wine in a new bottle. However, the dichotomy is that they've also been saying that they expected more from Modi ji and NDA. That means that they've expected more from Modi ji and the NDA than they ever expected from themselves. It means that they expect the NDA and Modi ji to be far better, and dear friends, so do we. And I'm sure that in the next 5 years, we will prove that the Modi ji and NDA will deliver on all these promises. The Finance Minister has shown a trinity of skill, scale, and speed in presenting his budget. His budget is positive, directional, and growth-oriented. Sir, Madam, the House should appreciate that despite the time constraint, the very little elbow room for fiscal space left by the vote-on-account budget, huge fiscal deficit, the FM has done a remarkable job and shown the country the path for a high-growth trajectory. He has balanced the need for social welfare with the need for creating a high-growth economy. Madam, we believe this budget to be pro-women, pro-farmer, pro-youth, and pro-growth. Madam, in our state and in my constituency in particular, I ran under the slogan, Intintik Ujogam, which means a job for every home. We believe that the only way to eradicate poverty is to provide people jobs. And the only way to provide jobs is for us to have high industrial growth. As per the NSS, the NDA between 1999 and 2004 created more than 60 million jobs in just 5 years, whereas the UPA 1 and 2 could generate less than 20 million jobs over a 10-year period. Madam, the Land Acquisition Act, which was passed last year, proved to be a death knell for industrial growth and job creation. We're happy that the Finance Minister has said that this will be looked into, and I'm sure that that will get industrial growth back on track. Madam, if GDP is to grow at 7 to 9%, and I'm happy the Power Minister is also here, the power sector will have to grow at 9 to 11%. That means that 2% more than the projected GDP growth. So I would request, since the Power Minister is also here, to please target 9 to 11% growth in power generation. Madam, the World Bank's ease of doing business has ranked India at number 131 in the world in 2013 and 134 in 2014 out of 189 economies. If India has to grow, we need to target to be in the top 50, if not the top 10 on this list. And for this, a single window clearance is critical. Madam, we have been waiting for GST for the last 15 years, but yet it is yet to see the light of day. Unless GST is implemented, the tax base will not go up. Unless the tax base is improved, we cannot have more collections. Unless we have more tax collections, we cannot have buoyancy in the system. And without buoyancy, there cannot be welfare measures. So the GST is the Taraka mantra for social welfare and for high growth. Madam, today, corporate social responsibility expenses are not exempted from tax. They're not considered as a business expense. Now that 2% of our profit of companies is mandatory for use in CSR, we would request that the Finance Minister to kindly look into considering these also as business expenses. Madam, the MSME sector are demanding for doubling the limits on plant and machinery. The present limits are 25 lakhs for micro, 25 lakhs to 5 crore for small, and 5 to 10 crore for medium enterprises. And the industry is demanding to double those limits. Madam, in the last 10 years, many public-private partnership projects have been taken up, and in this year, both in the railway budget as well as the general budget, many PPP projects have been envisaged to attract private participation and equity. PPP projects have come up in roads, airports, power, etc. But due to various problems, it has dampened the interest of private sector investment. In spite of having a dispute resolution mechanism, the previous government has failed to resolve most of these issues and has resorted to taking these issues into endless litigation in the courts. Madam, the government should resolve most of the long-pending disputes to rebuild the confidence among the investing community if they're going to be interested in continuing to participate in these projects. It's very good that Shri Nitin Gadkari has cleared 40,000 crores worth of projects in just 1 month. It is a good sign and will send a positive signal. Madam, my state of Andhra Pradesh is in a very precarious situation due to bifurcation of the state. While the movement for the separate state of Telangana may be decades old, it was only in the last few years that it became more intense. The path of development in the United States, much like the rest of the country, was focused mainly in and around only one city, which is Hyderabad. The investments made both by the government and the private sector were concentrated in and around Hyderabad. The result being that massive investments in infrastructure, setting up of premier institutions, continuing investments in defense establishments and R&D labs. Due to more concentration in Hyderabad, the bulk of jobs created both in service and manufacturing sector, in public and private, have been focused in and around Hyderabad, and the rest of undivided AP was ignored. Madam, my state is suffering greatly due to the policies that have been made. Please let me just continue to talk a little bit about the needs. The people and leaders of AP, in their anxiety to keep the state united, were not in a position to negotiate a fair settlement in a post-bifurcation scenario. The result, due to unplanned, irresponsible, and if I may say so, undemocratic manner by which the major issues were left unresolved. Issues such as sharing of power, water, government jobs, school admission, etc. Despite assurances, there is still no clarity on the support and incentives required by the new state to recover from the loss of its growth engine, Hyderabad. AP is a state left with no capital, no high court, no premier institutions, a very weak industrial base and educational institutions, and insufficient water, power, and especially financial resources. While it would have been prudent to have addressed these issues prior to bifurcation, we are left in a situation where clarity is still not forthcoming. The finance minister in his speech has made a statement, and I quote, "My government is committed to addressing the issues relating to the development of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana on the AP Reorganization Act 2014. Provision has been made by various departments and ministries to fulfill the obligation of the union government to both the states. While we are happy with the intent of the statement, the devil will be in the details." Madam, I'll skip to the conclusion. I have a lot more things to ask for the state, and I wish I had that time, but I'll table that along with my speech. I'll skip to the conclusion. Madam, we're in a very dire strait, and our Chief Minister has a vision that the state of Andhra Pradesh will rise like a phoenix from the ashes that have been left behind. We believe that the people of Andhra Pradesh to be among the most productive, educated, enterprising people in the entire world. And just as a war-ravaged Japan lifted itself out of complete state of devastation into becoming one of the most technologically and economically strong nations in the world, so will Andhra Pradesh once again become one of the leading growth engines of India. Madam, the Chief Minister's vision also sees the state developing in a decentralized manner, bringing economic growth and opportunities to all parts of the state and to be a model to the rest of India and to the rest of the world. We have the unique opportunity to work under the leadership of Sri Narendra Modi ji and Sri Nara Chandrababu Naidu Garu to make this happen, if only given the necessary and promised support, which is also the moral thing to be done. Madam, we'll rebuild Andhra Pradesh in the same way the Pandavas rebuilt or built Indraprastha after being driven out of Hastinapur. Madam, henceforth, Andhra Pradesh will be known as the miracle state. Thank you very much.